Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Profit Scale Thrive podcast, where we guide attorneys to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. I'm your host, Kelley Brubaker, and this is a special place because we don't work with every law firm owner. We support the solo attorneys who are single parents because we know the special challenges you face, and we know the business advice out there right now is not always practical for you and your firm. Each week, we will talk about things that will give you the insight you need to stop feeling overwhelmed, to gain back your confidence, and to finally enjoy your law firm and your life again. Hello, thanks for joining me today for the first ever Profit Scale Thrive podcast. For those who don't know me, my name is Kelley Brubaker. I am a CPA and business coach who supports solo attorneys who are single parents. I am also a certified Profit First professional, which means I help clients implement the cash management philosophy presented in the book Profit First, written by Mike Michalowicz. That one right there. Being the first episode, I want to talk about what to expect for this podcast. While I've been on social media for a while now, I realized how I was presenting content was not working well for me. I've been considering hosting a podcast since I was interviewed on someone else's podcast in 2020. I opted instead to do YouTube Lives instead of a podcast, but trying to do YouTube Lives has been really painful for me. It's the live part that keeps tripping me up. But I have so much valuable content to share that I'm taking this opportunity to pivot how I connect with my audience, and I hope you enjoy it. I intend to publish a new episode every week, which will be in both video format hosted on YouTube and audio format hosted on the podcast platform of your choice. So I've been working with attorneys for over a decade, but it's only been in the last few months that my coach and a few of my peers have challenged me to really focus on the segment within the legal industry who I really resonate with and have the potential to help the most. And it took me hearing this unsolicited from several people I respect to actually move on it. So recently, I've declared that my focus within the legal industry is to support solo attorneys who are single parents. And to be honest, my hesitation with declaring this is because it made me feel very vulnerable. Because I feel like for you to understand why this resonates so much with me is that I need to explain my background, which sometimes is hard for me to share. But here we go. So I've already mentioned that I'm a CPA and a business coach, and I've been working with attorneys for over a decade. And let's just say it's probably been like 2 decades. I don't want to share how many years because it makes me sound really old. But I started my first CPA firm in 2005. I voluntarily left an okay paying job with decent benefits to be self-employed. Nobody in my life at that point was self-employed. Everybody, my parents, my friends, my former coworkers, they all thought I was doing drugs or something because why would I voluntarily leave a job to be self-employed? But you know what? At the time, I was single and kid-free and life was good. So it was great, to be honest. I did very little marketing. I picked up so many clients that I was able to hire staff and open an office after 2 years of being on my own. And that's also the time that I got married, started my family, and shit hit the fan. It took growing to realize that I did not know how to be a business owner. So I was great at all the CPA stuff, but running my firm was sucking the life out of me. And I was struggling with money because I wanted to give my clients the world, but at prices they could afford. And being their CPA, I knew how much money they did not have to pay me. But I felt like if I put enough good in the world, good karma would come back to me in spades. Problem was it wasn't coming fast enough. So of course, I wanted to be with my kids, and I still do. They're 11 and 14 now, and I love them to death. But the stress of my firm was impacting them and my relationship with my husband. So I decided to purposely start working less hours, which gave me more time with my girls, but it made the money part harder. Eventually, my marriage was done, and I was really stuck between a rock and a hard place. But being the warrior that I am, And for those who don't know the meaning of names, Kelley actually means war in Irish. So a little fortuitous there with my parents. But I began reading books, scouring the internet, talking to other CPAs, buying up courses and programs with hopes that something in that would tell me how to fix my firm. It took me reading the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz for me to really put things into motion. I joined Profit First Professionals organization so that I could become a certified Profit First professional. It allowed me to learn Profit First stuff that was not in the book, but it also paired me with my Profit First professional coach, Liz. While all the books I had read sounded great, much of the advice in the books wasn't right for me. Hey, let's 2x, 3x, 5x your firm in 12 months. Um, I don't have time and energy for that. I'm a single mom. And I've been heavily involved in school things, the PTA, all that. Or come to this life conference, spend 3 days in sunny Florida and attend 20 sessions of your choice, when I know that going into it, the speakers will hands down share valuable content, but I can't leave my kids for 5 days. I mean, I'd have a travel day plus 3 days being at the conference and a travel day home, right? So 5 days. So it's not that I couldn't go to live conferences, it's that because my kids can always stay with their dad, right? But I don't want to leave my kids for 5 days. But the books, the blogs, the webinars that I consumed mostly said all the same things. Everyone was focused on multiplying the size of my firm. I know that multiplying equals complexity. Growing exponentially at a rapid pace, been there, done that, and my life imploded. So I'm not doing it again. Here's what I want. I want simplicity. And that's why Profit First has been so magical for me. It's simple and it's practical. And the support I get from the Profit First Professionals headquarters is amazing. It's support for me as a business owner with content from all of Mike's world, not just Profit First. And for those who don't know Mike Michalowicz, Google him. He's a keynote speaker. I think he's up to 7 books now. Amazing. So to bring this segment to a close, I've invested so much time and energy in building my firm to work for me and my kids that when I see other single parents struggling, I know it doesn't have to be that way. And so many of the things I've done in my CPA firm translates perfectly into law firms too. So this is your place to find support that you need as a solo attorney who's a single parent. And with that, let's take a quick break. Welcome back from the break. So in my last two YouTube live, it was done in an Ask Me Anything format, and I had a lot of fun with it. And in that spirit, I would like to include a segment in each podcast episode with a listener's question of the week. So today's question is from Cindy. I'm not profitable now. I'm not taking a salary just so that I can pay my staff and my rent. How can I even think to use Profit First before I'm actually profitable? Okay, so Profit First is based on human nature, which since the inception of online banking typically means that as a business owner, you check your bank balance every morning online to see how much you have or you don't have. There's nothing wrong with this behavior, but the source of that information is not complete and accurate. The big problem is that the bank doesn't know if you issued a check until it gets cashed. And unless you review your online account history against your check register, you don't know if the balance you see online is real. What Profit First says is let's open up multiple bank accounts that are dedicated to specific purposes. It's the same thing how you have to segregate client money into your IOLTA account. So each bank account that you open is assigned for a specific purpose. And depending on the purpose of each account, we're going to transfer a percentage of income Either every week, every other week, twice a month, you'll get into a rhythm on it. But periodically, you'll transfer a percentage of your income, whatever that bank balance, whatever your income account is at that point in time, you'll transfer money into the other accounts to fund them. So now, when you look at the individual accounts, so for example, if you look at your operating account, you know how much money is in there that you have to spend on operational expenses. It's already separate from your tax savings account, your profit account, and your other bank accounts. By segregating your money by purpose, it's easier to manage, which I know sounds so counterintuitive to add the complexity of multiple bank accounts, but it really does make a difference. So here's another way I can share a comparison for you. My parents did this when I was growing up, and I think it's still common today. They had a Christmas account at our credit union. And each week, the credit union transferred a few bucks from my parents' main checking account into their Christmas account all year long. And by Thanksgiving, there was enough money put away to pay for Christmas. It's the same principle also as having a 401k or a 529 plan. Continuously allocating money into specific accounts to be used for specific purposes is what will make managing your firm's cash, well, manageable and build your profitability. So thanks, Cindy, for your question. If you would like to submit a question for a future episode, please send an email to podcast@profitscalethrive.com. And no, I promise you will not get added to an email distribution list. There will not be a phone call and there will not be a sales pitch. We follow the golden rule, treat others how you wish to be treated. I don't like unsolicited sales. I don't do it to others. Let's take a quick break for this week's inspirational quote. And when we come back, I'll share my final thoughts. Welcome back from the break for my final thoughts. So, I have to admit, I'm sad to wrap up my first episode because I've enjoyed spending this time with you, but I'm pretty excited for the upcoming episodes. I hope you enjoyed learning more about me personally, which I'm sure violates about 16 different rules from the marketing handbook, but oh well. And I hope my answer to Cindy's question was helpful to both you and her. If you have any questions about today's episode, feel free to comment if you're watching on YouTube or shoot me an email at podcast@profitscalethrive.com. If you know someone who might need to hear this information, please share this episode with them, or if you are on YouTube, you can tag them below. Be sure to follow and subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. Did you like this episode or dislike it? Good or bad, please consider leaving a review. It's the only way for me to know that I can share more of the good or fix what's broken. And before I go, please remember, profit is something you intentionally plan for in the beginning. It's not a potential bonus at the end of the year. Thanks and have an amazing day. Bye.